The protracted political and economic crisis affected the construction industry, where competition among design organizations, both military and civilian, became extremely tough. The situation was aggravated by a drastic reduction in government orders. Under such circumstances, the CDI continued to design special facilities for the Defense Ministry and develop project documentation for dismantling and liquidating SS-19 missile systems. It also designed dwellings for Ukrainian military officers, including those redeployed from East Germany. The housing projects for the latter were funded by the German government. That was when new divisions were set up at the CDI, the Contract and Marketing Departments, the Investment Project Bureau as a think tank, and the Automated Design Bureau as an executive body. The Investment Project Bureau specialized in very important activities, which were novel to the Institute. It looked for investors, rendered engineering and consultancy services, developed and analyzed investment projects, organized investment tenders, and offered norm-setting initiatives. The construction of cantonments with German money literally rescued the CDI when almost 1,000 construction projects were suspended or cancelled after the breakup of the USSR. Moreover, the experience the Institute gained while working for housing construction and developing tender documents for foreign companies proved to be very useful in its further international cooperation. Very soon, foreign companies saw tangible benefits of cooperation with the highly professional specialists and top managers of the CDI, who always met the deadline. After all, correct fulfillment and punctuality are in the blood of military officers. In cooperation with the CDI, international tenders for dwelling construction for the military were won by such leading companies as Makulan, Austria, Glavbolgarstroy, Bulgaria, and Hochtief, Walter Textor, and Bilfinger Berger, Germany. That project was followed by cooperation with McDonald's that began to build its chains in Ukraine. In Kyiv alone, the CDI designed 7 McDonald's restaurants. It contributed to the construction of Europe's biggest Coca-Cola factory near Kyiv and the modern office center Podil Plaza in Kyiv. As there are very few government orders for design and construction, cooperation with foreign companies helps the CDI to maintain its intellectual potential and keep its staff and personnel employed. In recent years, and especially in its jubilee year 2009, the Central Design Institute has been demonstrating sustainable and creative performance. Having learned to survive in the hard decade-long transition period, we are learning to live and work abreast of the modern times. We owe our success to our respected and trusted top management, led by Oleg Primachuk, first category state manager and merited builder of Ukraine. This team has achieved so much because it is headed by a mature man, mature as a professional and a manager. He is a recognized specialist in design and construction, military and civilian. I believe this institute has a good leadership with good methods of management. He knows how to combine democracy with strict control. That's why the results are good. I am glad to see that the institute has risen up to the international level. Besides the traditional design projects like dismantling and liquidation of missile systems, demilitarization of missile bases in Pervomaisk and Khmelnytsky, and total liquidation of strategic air bases, the Institute has produced projects for restoration and environmental rehabilitation of the vacated areas. We had to kill our own brain children. We saw later that it was no less difficult to destroy than to build. It was a complex task with complex technologies, because we dealt with specifics of missile systems, with rocket fuels, with restoration of land. We managed to make all those designs. They were unprecedented in terms of amount. The environmental department worked very successfully in that direction. The institute also made design estimates for the construction of dwellings for military servicemen in Pervomaisk, Khmelnytsky and Vinnytsia, for the construction of shopping malls, residential blocks and office buildings on Melnikova and Vorovskova streets in Kyiv, for the reconstruction of the buildings of the Prosecutor General Office and the State Customs Service, the wings of the government building and the premises of the State Tax Administration on Lvivska Square in Kyiv. The institute made designs for the campus on Zmyiny Island in the Black Sea with power supply from renewable sources and for the reconstruction of airports in Russia by order of Gazprom. The CDI delivered to the customer the design of the 12-kilometer approach line to the Desna Army Training Center in the Chernihiv Oblast, which now provides very important communication by rail. The CDI made designs for innovation and re-equipment of command posts and buildings of the IT center and for the reconstruction of the automated control center of the General Staff. The CDI designed the reconstruction and modernization of the SKA Aquatic Center, which now hosts European tournaments. It is one of the best aquatic centers in the country. In 2005, we embarked on a very important and large-scale project: development of design proposals for structures and communication lines of the Cyclone 4 space launch facility in Brazil, under the guidance of the world's leading rocket builder, the Pivdenne Design Bureau. It is where we make the most of the huge practical experience gained at Baikonur, where the institute's director Oleg Primachuk and his colleagues built the first Soviet space range. The high professionalism and sense of responsibility have always been characteristic of our staffers. We owe these qualities to decades of teamwork and the honor of being military officers. These qualities are still with us, and I hope will always be. This job is a matter of honor to us. We know how to design missile facilities. We know the systemic and comprehensive approach to this work. To accomplish it is a matter of honor to our state, to our team, and to me personally. There are some very interesting projects ahead, and very soon we are going to start them. We have received some concrete proposals. The energy of knowledge and experience accumulated over 6 decades of hard and diligent work is now lighting Ukraine's space road, which starts from the first space range in faraway Brazil. Since the presidents of Ukraine and Brazil signed a space cooperation agreement several years ago, the Central Design Institute, the Pivdenne Design Bureau, and Brazil's ATEC, the customer of the space range construction project, have been working as a single mechanism. The CDI staff even happened to work in 2 shifts to produce 10,000 volumes of design and construction estimates. Adapted to Brazilian norms and legislation and translated them into English, the documents were handed over to the customer in time, and in September 2009, the Brazilian Space Range project was approved. And a few months later, while visiting our institute, an official delegation led by the Brazilian Defense Minister appraised our team's high professionalism and huge contribution to the preparation of the design papers for the Alcantara Space Range project. The construction of the first Ukrainian-Brazilian space range Alcantara, the 3rd Millennium Space Range, starts in 2010. This project involves advanced technologies. It is thanks to our director's farsightedness that we firmly occupy the space niche along with other Ukrainian and international design organizations. The Alcantara project elevated the CDI staff's technological performance to a new qualitative level. Since the very start of the Alcantara project, we have been in constant interface contact with Brazil and the Pivdenne Design Bureau, discussing each detail of the project at web conferences and taking all remarks into consideration. It took us no time to learn to communicate with partners online. Our technical equipment and professional qualifications have helped us to cope with the tasks. We appreciate the cooperation of our Brazilian partners who have been working side by side with us here in Ukraine.
This is a key project for us in Brazil, and it is a landmark in the Brazilian-Ukrainian relations. As I told the Director General of this enterprise, Brazil has only 2 binational enterprises. The first one is dated from 1804, is with Paraguay, our brother Republic of Paraguay in South America, and it is the hydroelectric power of Itaipu. And the second one is the Alcântara Cyclone Space. That is a key project for both countries because it's a launching base for satellites. And I believe that this project implies a full aspects of cooperation in the long run. I believe that everything is fine. I believe that we are going to be very successful in doing this project. And this project, as I told you before, is going to be our pet project. The project that will give rise to different projects in the future.
Our road to space lay through bogs and rocks and dire straits, through formidable political, economic and social changes in the country. We have preserved our professional dignity. Step by step, we have followed through and won in tough competition. We are proud of what we can show to the world and head down to posterity. We are honored to serve Ukraine and customers on all continents. We are honored to have pioneered the new age for Ukraine. Mankind's space era continues, and we have a worthy place in this era as a space nation with ambitious space projects. The National Space Agency, the Pivdenna Design Bureau, and the Central Design Institute are powerful locomotives of the space era, elevating Ukraine to new, higher orbits of development. We are honored and proud that our intellect serves our mother Ukraine and the world community.